All right, guys, we have to start off by telling you this amazing story by starting it with traffic. I sat in Atlanta traffic for about 4 hours in the span of 24 hours, which is insane. We went from Colorado to Atlanta to go be on VINwiki. Now, we weren't on there just for an interview. It was an entire day with Mr. Ed. I'm gonna call him Ed because his last name, I butcher people's last name, and he will laugh because he knows I can't pronounce certain words. While I was being interviewed, it was one of the things I had trouble with was pronouncing words. So focus on English class, people. So when I showed up to this really nice house, Ed walked out, he was in sandals and he was super chill, like super calm, super like relaxed, and it put me at ease. But then when we went inside his garage and I saw the Bugatti and I saw the 2 pairs of Lamborghinis and this spiker car, I got nervous. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't get nervous, I'm a YouTuber, but I got nervous right away. He offered me a water and we got to meet each other, talk to each other, and then we pretty much rolled into the interviews. And I'm not gonna lie, like the interviews were a little intimidating because like his room is super cool, but behind or in front of the person being interviewed, you got this big old honeycomb light, and Ed is set back in a corner, and you could see him, but he's dark, and you kind of feel like you're in a CIA interview. So that kind of caught me off guard a bit. And during the interview, like the first like 5-10 minutes, we had to cut a lot because I was like messing up. I was nervous. But then after a few hours, you heard that right, a few hours, I finally relaxed and I started talking about stuff. So I was there for 2 things: for interviews, which we did quite a bit of them, but I was also there to inspect 6 cars, which was crazy because inspecting 6 cars and then having to do like 3 interviews, and it was 100 degrees weather in Atlanta and it's very humid. It was a wild day. And I really think I got one of those crazy experiences because at the end of the day, I spent the whole day with Ed. Like we did all kinds of stuff. Now, during the interviews, which were really cool because we talked about all kinds of stuff. We talked about how awesome Lemonsquad is, how being a Lemonsquad inspector, being a master tech, AC task, driver's therapy, everything. All that was cool. Like we talked about a lot of stuff. I even mentioned some of you guys who watch this channel, which is cool, and I'm really hoping they come out. Then in the middle of the interviews, we take a break and then we have to do inspections. And I did inspections on like some really crazy cars. I did inspections on his kart track cars, the ones that like he went crazy with, did all these trips and all these going into oceans and jumping stuff and testing stuff. So these cars were really, they've seen some action. So doing the inspections is really funny because my inspection sheet is like, it's really detailed. It's like meant for a car that you really want to buy, and usually they're really good shape. So like every line, it was like issue, because these cars are crazy. As a matter of fact, here's a couple pictures of like the Bugatti, which is an Audi TT that had spray painted seats, which was hilarious. And the best part of the entire like trip for me, the VINwiki interview, was the drives with Ed. At first we were both strangers to each other. We've got some business we got to take care of. But when we went driving, I really felt that like we became kids because like we were driving these beat up cars, to be honest with you. And I remember I was driving the Bugatti TT, and I was going from first to second, and it went to third. It was horrible. It's like the craziest crunch of a gear I've ever heard in a long time. And Ed said, "Oh, I forgot about that." And we were driving, and every time we go in third, it was just like, and then we take a turn, and there was like clunking and noises, and these cars were like a hot mess. We were just giggling. At that point in time, we kind of made it a theme that we were just laughing. And then I got to experience some really cool stuff. I got to drive like that Lamborghini Diablo that was that he purchased from Japan. That was the previous owner was a Suzuka, or I don't know how to say it. That's a racetrack. What's that? Yakuza guy, right? I don't know all the names for all this stuff, but it was really interesting because I've never driven an old school Lamborghini Diablo, which was really neat. We had to do that for the inspection. And I really think one of the coolest parts too was being able to have a chance to drive Ed's Mercedes, the same car he used for Cannonball to do his record, which was really neat. So then we went back, we did some more interviews, and then Ed took me out to go eat lunch, and I could tell you from the beginning to the end, he was just a class act. He was just a great guy, great host. And we had a lot of laughs because there was just so much stuff going on. And hearing stories and getting advice and seeing his Bugatti and stuff like that, it was just an amazing experience. And the crazy thing is, Elise and Max, they flew into Atlanta because we did a big road trip. And it was funny, after we did the interview, I got in my rental car and I shot across Atlanta, got into more traffic. And but it was just a wonderful experience because like I literally spent a whole day with, you know, with a YouTube icon and a really good dude, car enthusiast, and it was awesome. So that was my trip to go see VINwiki.